So what's up today, John?
Well, I wanted to just talk for a couple minutes. The two topics I know the most about are the Beatles and the JFK assassination, neither of which have anything to do with atheism. But,
Far out, man.
You talk about what you know, so I thought, well, what can I talk about the Beatles that has anything to do with atheism? And I ran into this interesting quote. They did an interview in the February 1965 issue of Playboy, which I read only for the articles.
Apparently.
And this caught my eye. It was really interesting, considering this is 1965. Playboy says, "You guys seem to be pretty irreverent characters. Are any of you churchgoers?" John says no. George says no. Paul says, "Not particularly, but we're not anti-religious. We probably seem anti-religious because of the fact that none of us believe in God." Again, for 1965, that's incredible.
Beatles were really good at understatement.
That was like the height of their popularity, pretty much. And it was only a few short months after that John Lennon was quoted to a journalist in Britain saying, "The Beatles are more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, Christianity or rock and roll," which caused a big stink in the United States. In the South, they were burning Beatles albums and picketing their concerts and issuing death threats. And for some reason, this other thing kind of passed them up, or maybe it's just the people who were offended by that wouldn't want to admit to reading Playboy. But in any case, I don't want to put the Beatles in the atheist column necessarily, because 4 years later, George Harrison wrote "My Sweet Lord," but it's just an interesting snapshot of the times, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, Christians are still upset about rock music now, but I'm sure they pine for the time when the Beatles was the scariest thing they had to deal with.
True.
Although I don't know. The whole rock music Satanism thing kind of seemed to reach its apex of hysteria in the '80s sometime.
Yeah, that's when all the backward masking stuff was going on. And
yeah, now we've got
Tipper
like
Gore
Justin Bieber instead of like Kiss or whatever. But yeah,
but that's all. We can go to calls. I just thought that was interesting.
What about the JFK assassination? Didn't you say something about that?
That's the other thing I know a lot about. And
oh, okay.
I haven't quite figured out how to relate that to atheism, but